Hey, good morning, and how are you guys doing today? I hope amazing. So we're back. We're going to be doing some touch-ups on some of these chapters, and then continuing through and working chapter 24 to make sure it gets done. I might even just work a little bit of chapter 25. I'm honestly not sure how much we'll get done. We have a 2-hour session this morning, so I would assume a pretty good amount. I literally did just wake up. It's 5 a.m., and so taking a second. I'll get some coffee in me, but we'll be knocking some stuff out any second now. Got shot up, and we are ready, I'd say. By the way, I hope you guys all had a great week. I'm gonna tell you what I don't like so far. Right off the bat, I feel I did a crappy job on back here. Somewhere where we had him captured, I explained what happened with the Vikings getting captured also. Honestly, I'm not too happy about that. Um, I feel I need to make it more believable of how space Vikings would get captured by a primitive tribe. And so we're going to do that first. But then on top of that, I'm honestly not really sure that we need to have Norse type names for our space Vikings. I mean, like, they're a space Viking culture. And so I'm not 1,000,000% sure that I'm going to continue giving them Norse names or even keep it with that. I think we'll keep their leader as Bjorn. Um, but I'm not 1,000,000% sure I need them to have like um, man, I am not awake at all. Um, Northern Scandinavian style names, just to be honest. And so that could change when I'm in revision. Not 1,000,000% sure if it is going to change. I'm just saying that that's one of the things I'm not 1,000,000% on. So real quick, let's do some fix up on this. Um, let's figure out what the crap I'm doing here. Warband. I've called it a warband there. I'm not sure if I continue to call it a warband either. We know that. I think I could just call them Vix, but so I'm gonna probably add to this. Okay, they drugged us at dinner. Even then, we managed to kill more than a few of them before succumbing. Okay. Let's put this part before. Let's actually. I'm gonna totally fix this up. I don't like it this at all. So Okay, now let's fix this. Let's separate that out, kick it down. Copy there. Yeah, I think this is gonna be better, just to be honest. Okay. When we arrived, they invited us in and offered us dinner. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna fix this here. I don't really like this whole section's bugging me. Hey, good morning, Rana Blue. Hey, Avalonus. Hey, Rudavo. I hope you guys are all having a great day. Um, I didn't like how we let the I didn't like how it went down with the Vikings getting captured. It honestly wasn't making sense to me. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel fixing this is going to really help because it has to make sense. And honestly, that's what revision 1 I think is predominantly going to be doing is making sure our story once we have it actually makes coherent sense in some capacity. Because some of the stuff, we're throwing in there, we're forcing it together to get where we're going. And there's a chance that during that, some stuff that just really, if you were telling it to somebody, would be like, what the crap? And that ruins a read for a reader. Like, if they have their brain alert signals going off, I don't know if you guys have ever been reading something and you're like, why would that even work like that? And then all of a sudden you're out of the hypnotic state of an enjoyable story. I'm not trying to do that to anybody. And so I think revision 1, legitimately outside of the extra stuff we're going to add and stuff like that, there's going to be a whole crapload of reworking stuff to make sure it makes actual sense. Like, that seems like a huge, and honestly, that's going to be a lot of work because that, I just believe it's going to be a lot of work. Okay, so okay, I'm going to sneak this out of here because I actually do think that this makes sense in here. Comma, bump, and drop that out. Okay, let's see now. Now I feel we are there. Okay. I feel also, the other thing I feel we need to do is throw a lot more magic in here in revision. Like we have a small amount of magic. Um, honestly, not the amount that we should have had. And so I'm gonna up the magic levels too during revision. Probably gonna up a lot of things. So we have a big job on revision one. I think that'll be a complicated situation. We'll have to work through that. My God, my fingers are just hitting random buttons this morning. Okay, so we're good there. Two, boom. I don't know why I said that, but okay, there. I feel we did fix this a little bit, so let's go over this. The shamans came closer, as if almost insulted by the question. Um, I think we can just say insulted by the question, right? Yeah, we can just say it. We're going to be a lot more direct, actually, too. That's the other goal is to cut out some of this indirect crap. Because I realized that I pussyfoot around the stuff sometimes in some of it. And I don't think we need that at all. We had landed. Okay. We had landed to forage and scout one of scout. I think you'd scout before forage, but that's just me. So let's switch these out. I wish there was a switch button. We had landed to scout and forage one of the abandoned cities from before the horrors ravaged this world. That is when our scouts. Let's see. Let's just get rid of that and just go right to forage. Okay, let's see if this reads better. We landed to forage one of the abandoned cities from before the horrors ravaged this world. That's when our. Okay, see, we can get rid of that and reread it again. We landed to forage one of the abandoned cities from before the horrors ravaged this world, when our scouts captured a couple of their men. After questioning them, we found out that they worshipped strange gods whose idols were adorned with valuable gems. When we arrived, ooh, I'm really not. I'm liking what we fixed so far, but let's get to right where we're at. When we arrived, okay. After questioning them, we found out they worship strange gods whose idols are adorned with valuable gems. Looking to find out more, we decided to take the men back to their village. When we arrived, they invited us in and offered us dinner. So we agreed to the dinner with them. See, with them, we don't need that. Okay. When we arrived, they invited us in and offered us dinner. So we agreed to have dinner. So we could observe it for ourselves. It was just a trick, though. They had drugged our meals. Even then, we managed to kill more than a few of them before succumbing. After we woke up, after we woke up, we found ourselves in here. Think we can just go right till we woke up and found ourselves in here? Yeah, I think we can. Finding ourselves. Okay. Boom, boom. Okay, let's reread this, see if it actually makes sense now, right? We had landed to forage one of the abandoned cities from before the horrors ravaged this world, when our scouts captured a couple of their men. After questioning boom, comma, we found out they worship strange gods whose idols are adorned with valuable gems. Looking to find out more, we decided to take the men back to their village. When we arrived, they invited us in and offered us dinner, so we agreed to have dinner. That sounds horrible right there. Everything sounded good up to here. When we arrived, they invited us in and offered us dinner. We can obviously that doesn't need to be there. So we agreed so we could observe it. Agreed, comma. Let's simplify this to hoping to learn more, right? Okay. That's going to sound better, I think. Looking to find out more. Oh, do we even need that? Looking to find out more, we decided to take the men back to their village. When we arrived, they invited us in and offered us dinner, so we agreed. Ah, I'm gonna leave hoping to learn more. In revision, I'm probably gonna change this. Honestly, this right there, I'm not liking all the way. It was just a trick, though. They had drugged our meals. Okay. Even then, we managed to kill more than a few of them. More than a few of them before succumbing. Okay, we woke up finding ourselves bound and captured. Slowly, we figured out that they intended us for sacrifice. I'm okay with that. Honestly, I do feel that there needs to be more dialogue here, but I'm going to put a lot more dialogue in revision, and I don't want to slam into it right now, honestly. Got enough coffee in me to be semi coherent now. Let's move on to the chapter we're at, um, and we'll knock some of this out. Okay, we moved. Obviously, I also need the transition to them being brought out of the things, right? Okay, we moved down the long corridors, our hands tied, lit. Oh, see. This needs to be closer to the corridor. Copy this, because it sounds like their hands were lit. Corridor lit by torches, our hands tied. Okay, flanked by guards on both sides. The walls were old with strange glyphs. Let me look over this. Okay, let's separate out this. I feel we're getting over descriptive in a single. Is it huge stone? Let me look up how to spell huge stone. I don't want to misspell huge stone. Hewed stone? Not a huge stone. Mm. Well, I'll deal with that later then. I'm gonna try to deal with it now. I don't know why it's not finding the huge stone. See, is that it? Seems like there's a lot of landmarks that are named this kind of stuff, and I'm looking at for an exact type of stone. Okay. Well, moving on. I'll deal with that later. I don't want to be spending too much of the morning looking up words. Those were. Hmm. Okay, the walls were old, with strange glyphs and depictions of what looked like horrors. The carvings of abominations depicted them as worshipped gods, showing scenes of transformation. The deeper we went into their earthen temple, the more I understood. These were worshippers of the horrors. Okay, so I'm cool with that. That sounds good. I mean, it could be better, but finally we came to a large chamber, where many of the people had gathered in their seats, encircling the large open area. Okay, blah, blah. Let's look over this. Finally, needs a comma. Finally, we came to a large chamber, where many of the people had gathered in their seats, encircling an open area where we were being brought into. Obviously, we're being brought into it. Okay, so this sounds crap right here. Let's fix this. Finally, we came to a large chamber where many of their people had gathered in seats encircling an open area. I don't really like that. We don't need to say we're being brought into it and then say that we are being brought into, because obviously we're being brought into it. In the open area were three statues with sacrificial altars below them, and a large pit in the center, with trails of blood leading from the altars to it. The altar leading from the altars. And that's going to be a possessive. Okay, that I'm okay with. The statues were encrusted with gems As the Vix had said, I found myself more concerned with figuring out how I would survive this. I looked at the native tribesmen. They all seemed to be defeated and consigned to their fate. The Vix, comma, I could tell were planning. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go along with it. No, I get it. It's a non-restrictive. The Vix, I could tell, were planning something though. So I decided when they made their move, whatever it was, that would be my best chance. I like that. That works out. Okay, so we fixed a whole little bit of this. So much work is going to have to be done still. When a man stepped out, okay, okay. Then the man wearing robes and a crown stepped out, and the crowd cheered. I recognized him as the one from my earlier encounter. He walked over, telling the guards a few words before they grabbed three of the tribesmen and took them to the altar. Okay, once again for YouTube, this is fictional violence, not real violence. The other day when I said that, they didn't hit my video, so I'm assuming that I need to state fictional. None of this really happened, YouTube. I don't know, maybe we don't need to say that, but they did hit one of my videos, so I'd like them to know ahead of time. I recognized him as the one from my earlier encounter. He walked over, telling the guards a few words before they grabbed three of the tribesmen and took them to the altar. The guards then started moving us to the edge of the pit, motioning us to kneel. Okay. Guards then started moving the rest of us to the edge of the pit, motioning us to kneel. I watched as the Vix and the tribesmen knelt, so I did the same, waiting for someone to make a move. Okay, we're good with that. The man with the robes and the crown. We need to figure out who this guy is earlier in this story, is what I'm figuring, so that we have a name for him. Maybe I'll just identify him earlier as their priest or something like that, so we can just reference him differently than the man with the robes and the crown, right? And I think we're getting rid of that crown. I'll figure that out later, though. The man with the robes and the crown walked towards the first man. Okay, who was being held down on the altar. Okay, and I feel that we can do this differently too. That'll probably get touched up in revision, though. Holding a black dagger in his hand, he stood there uttering some kind of prayer to the statues before plunging it into the man's chest. As soon as he was done, he moved on to the next one, dispatching him in the same way, and then the third as well. Once all three men lay dead, he walked to the edge of the pit, continuing his strange utterances. As he stood there, the guards dragged the bodies of the sacrificed men to the pit and threw them in. They were an offering of some sort, but to what? I think he would know. But then the guards selected three more tribesmen, and the process repeated. But this time, as the men's bodies were thrown into the pit, I could hear something stir below. The Fix also seemed to take note of this, as the guards were selecting the next three victims, they made their move. So this is where I need to change some stuff too, because we've already established. Obviously, they've got his plasma pistol, and they've got the two laser rifles that we identified earlier that some men were carrying. Right. One of the Minotaurs stood up, quickly breaking the the ropes binding his hands before grabbing and throwing one of the guards down the pit. At the same time, Bjorn, the other Minotaur, and the shaman were quickly freeing themselves. Panic took hold of the guards, but they still managed to spear one of the young Vicks, killing him before he could free himself. Okay, so here's this. Then even the tribesmen started to free themselves. Okay, a few badly aimed shots poured in from guards trying. Uh, let's think of how to say this. We'll drop one of the guardsmen here, or one of the tribesmen. Okay, so let's read back through this. I think that makes more sense. Even if it doesn't make sense, shots poured in from the guards wielding the two laser rifles in my plasma rifle. But they were badly aimed and only managed to kill one of the tribesmen meant for sacrifice and a couple of their own guards before they dropped the weapons to flee. As the guard, as I think we can get this out of the way and we can just do it this way. Boom, boom. I worked freeing myself from the bindings. Okay. Hey, good morning. How are you doing? Hope you're having a great one. Skill finger. Okay, so let's go back here. Let's read back through this, see if this makes sense, right? At the same time, Bjorn and the other Minotaur. At the same time, Bjorn, the other Minotaur, and the shaman worked quickly, freeing themselves. Panic took hold of the guards, but they managed to spear one of the young Viks, killing him before he could free himself. Then even the tribesmen started to try to free themselves. Shots poured in from the guards wielding the two laser rifles and my plasma rifle. But they were badly aimed and only managed to kill one of the tribesmen meant for sacrifice and a couple of their own guards. Before, see, that seems weird there. Before they dropped the weapons to flee. I worked. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. Grab this like this. Shots poured in from the blah blah. You know what? I'm gonna leave that for a second. Let me reread this. Shots poured in from the guards wielding the two laser rifles and my plasma rifle. But they were badly aimed, only managed to kill one of the tribesmen meant for sacrifice and a couple of their own guards before they dropped the weapons to flee. I'm going to leave that. I think it could be written better. It probably needs redone somehow, but right now I feel that it says what happens at least, right? I worked freeing myself from the bindings. That's going to be just with. And with the guards distracted, the and with the guard distracted his back towards me, I pounced on him, biting him on his neck. I think we can just. He dropped his spear, but the other guard turned and stabbed me in my shoulder, forcing me off him. Both. Wait. Okay. He dropped his spear, but the other guard turned and stabbed me. Turned. Okay. Oh, wrong through, guys. Okay. He dropped his spear, but the other guard turned, stabbing me through my shoulder and knocking me off him before they both ran off. Before they both ran off towards the corridor doors. Don't really love how that reads. In revision, I'm going to have a whole bunch of, hey, let's change how this reads. I feel I'm going to be able to revise about 2 chapters a day. Um, I'm going to keep the same stream schedule probably, you guys, just so you know. But the thing is, I'm going to have to revise off stream too, and so it's going to be a big. I'll try to keep all the writing of the new chapters for on stream, but I'm not a million percent. I literally need to get this moving at a faster rate than we've been moving for sure, and so I'll have to figure that out. Okay, so let's figure this out. Okay, so we've got to fight for our lives and stuff like that. I'm gonna separate these out. Because I think we're about to have to add another chapter, honestly. We'll have to deal with that. Okay. He dropped his spears, but the other guard turned and stabbed me through my shoulder and knocked me off of him. Off him. They, along with many of the other guards, fled towards the corridors, stone doors that were now being closed. The Vicks, okay, that were being closed, comma. The Vicks were now armed, and even with only the spears, were more than a match for the remaining guards. Okay, so we've got that. Okay, now we. Hey, Def M, how you doing this morning? I hope you're rocking it. So we've got three tribesmen left, and we've got the majority of our dudes left. We've got one Minotaur, two Minotaurs, a shaman, Bjorn, Sam, and a young Vic. Uh, let's throw this down. I think we got chapter number 25 broke in here, right? Let's figure this out real quick. How are we doing this? So the audience, um, what did I call them up here actually? Did I call them an audience? Mm. We'll just call him the priest in the robes. Honestly, I'm probably going to go back and fix that up there too. Louder. Oh, glad they fixed that because I was not noticing it. Oh, that's I didn't know what I was trying to say there. Okay. So that's where we're going to leave that part. So let's jump to chapter 25, right? Obviously, chapter 25, they're going to kill the horrible abomination. That's going to happen here. We're probably going to have 2 more chapters, is what I would say. 24. There might have to be a little bit more in there. I don't know. Yeah, I feel we're good. This is where we have to decide what kind of abomination is coming up the thing. Oh, let's have more than an abomination. This is good. So we're gonna do more than an abomination. Got to figure out exactly what we're doing. Sorry, I'm just trying to switch something over so I can. Okay, so let's think. We're gonna have some kind of large abomination. I didn't describe any of these statues, right? Um, what the heck? I'm gonna probably at the back describe some of these statues, just to be honest, in our thing. But let's figure out what we're having. Do we want giant serpent-like snake abomination? Do we want some kind of like maggot creature? Somehow I'm liking a maggot creature, but not all the way either. Let's think. What kind of... Okay, so here's what we're doing. Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's read this. Right then, two twisted figures. Okay, obviously I'm going to say twisted again down there. I don't need to say it up there. Hey, good morning, Senka. How you doing today? And also good morning, Fire Debug and DFM. I hope you guys are all rocking it. Okay, right then, two figures emerged from the pit. They were once men, but seemed broken and twisted, like the figures seen on the carvings in the passageway. See, we're good there. I like that. So, I don't like the word knocking. And I think we're just going to call them Vix, even though we all know that they're Vikings. Vix is the first word for Vikings, by the way. And so, we're getting there. We're getting there. Revision is going to make this so much better. I think by revision 5, we're actually going to have a serious, solid story, by the way. I mean, there's a lot of fixing wording and some other crap and some. I'm going to add an additional character, you guys, in the back plot. I really don't feel we have enough magic at all going on. So the magic is getting upped. And so that's part of it. New character in the back plot part that's going to be one of his friends. More magic. Obviously, full ship crew. So there's going to be more death in the combat scenes type stuff. Um, we don't really have enough action outside of the few scenes of action we had. And definitely didn't have enough magic, is what I've felt so far. Because I've kind of read through it again. And I was like, it needs more stuff in a few places, like a lot more stuff in a few places. But the amount of magic was not. I felt we were in a pseudo loosely, hey, there is some magic, but it felt like it wasn't palpable amounts. You know what I mean? Um, So who am I killing here? You know what? Nobody's gonna die here. I'm trying to think if we're having it knocked to the ground. Okay, I managed to fire blah blah, striking it directly in the chest. It's a lot of the word it in there. That probably needs touched up in revision. A code. There's gonna be an H in there. Yeah. Okay, boom. Okay, boom, boom. We've got that. I feel the shaman needs to cast some kind of spell, right? Let's give this guy rune magic. Boom. Okay, so we've got magic finally. Honestly, we're in the back writing revision stuff. I'm adding much more magic use. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I'm adding a whole new character. And we're not going to be coy about the girl, Sarah. She's going to die the same way. Nobody's changing their death. Just so everybody that died is dying exactly how they died. Except we're going to up the amount of magic being used across the board, just to be honest, guys. Okay, so now we've got to break the barrier. Let's break this barrier open. Okay, what kind of creature are we having here, guys? What's our abomination gonna be? Okay, I've got it figured out. Do we even want to use a fist? Mm, okay, as the creatures work to get through the barrier, the unholy screams grew louder. Suddenly, a large blast of energy burst through the barrier, knocking the shaman to the ground. We'll just. Okay, let's think of what we're doing here. By the way, happy holiday, Vital Duck. I hope you're ready for. I hope you guys are all ready for a good holiday, honestly. Okay, so we've got creatures coming out, the twisted creatures. Okay, so now. Okay, let's figure this out. This is where I don't know exactly what to do. I mean, I know kind of what's going to happen, but I'm trying to figure out. I feel that we're about to use a. a Naga type creature. Is it a Naga? Are we making this a Naga or are we making this a... There's a few different creatures. Oh, the game's going good. But besides the game's going good, this book is going pretty good. We're almost done with book one, guys, just for the record. We're about to kill some people here though. I have no way, there's no way we bring a creature like this out and don't kill somebody. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Do we have him waste a bunch of time describing it? Okay. Its upper body was that like that of a large man, with eyes that surged with magical energy. Its lower body was that of a snake. Altogether, whew, Okay, so 4 meters tall, if anybody's confused about that, is a 16-foot dude. Yeah, no, I get you. And that's a lot of what we're gonna make sure in revision. I feel that there is purpose to describing it that much, so that we realize the situation they're in this one. But I do agree. No, no, it's a 4 meter. It's not a snake. You know what what would you call it? It's not a naga. And let me think of what they're called technically. I almost wanted to call it a Githyanki, but it's not a Githyanki either. It's a specific creature. Oh, the bottom half would be about 2 meters tall because it well even more actually because I've got even with its tail coiled. So it's setting their tail coiled and everything. So honestly, the bottom half would have to be frickin' probably 4 meters on its own. In all, yeah, altogether with its tail coiled, it stands about 4 meters tall. So at that point, well, yeah, it would be around. It's 3 foot per meter. So in all honesty, it would be about 12 foot tall when coiled. Maybe that's a little more than I should go, but I feel that that towers above a human. I mean, that's like freaking boom above a human, right? That's massive. Um, so at this point, we're gonna kill people. That is towering. So, but this thing was being worshipped as a god, and now they're about to find out why it was being worshipped as a god. Um, let's kill some dudes. Obviously, people do die here. There's no I mean, like a single spear or even a couple shots from his thing are not going to take this creature down. Obviously, um, it is towering, guys. That's literally the whole idea here is that this thing is an overmatch. So we've got to have an overmatch. We've got two minotaurs, a shaman, the warband leader, an extra Viking. Obviously, the three tribesmen that are left mean nothing because they're all in panic mode. We might as well write them off. I mean, I could randomly kill one of them once in a while in this battle, but outside of that, they're not going to do anything. Sam's gonna open up with the gun, and that's pretty much all Sam's gonna be able to do. I'm gonna just be honest about that. Um, we already know that we're gonna kill one of the Minotaurs and the other young guy two. So basically, one Minotaur, Bjorn, and the Shaman are gonna walk out of this. Yeah. So let's begin the death. Okay, let's kill people. Well, let's say abomination. Let's simplify it. Yeah, we've got it as a abomination right there. Okay. Mm. Okay. Now what do we do? Okay, so we've established it has some kind of energy shield around it. Ooh, let's do this. Now we're gonna release some kind of okay, its eyes that's surged. I don't know why we have that. Its eyes surged with power as energy formed in its hand before it cast towards the shaman. Okay, let's think how we're saying this. So basically, energy blast hits him. His protection spell is smashed. He gets knocked to the ground and unconscious, right? Managed to stop the blast. Stop most. Okay, so we've knocked out the shaman. Okay, the shaman had some sort of protection spell around him which managed to stop most of the blast, but it was powerful. And what got through knocked him across the floor, rendering him unconscious. I'm totally okay with that. Okay, so we have an unconscious shaman. Un Really trying to remember what you call these guys. See, Nagas are one thing. This is a different thing, and I literally can't remember the mythological creature that we're using right now. We're using an actual, real mythological type creature, by the way. I mean, by real, I mean mythological, but you know, we won't get into that. How are we going to get them through this situation? Okay, here's how I think we're going to have to do this. We're obviously going to have to sacrifice somebody. So since we already know one of the Minotaurs is gonna die, this guy's dead too, by the way. Yep. Okay. Mm. Okay, we've made this thing beastie, so let's figure this out. I feel that what's going to have to happen here is that the Minotaurs and Bjorn are going to have to try to shove this guy down the pit to its death, right? What's going to have to happen is one of them is going to end up having to be taken down with it. That's the only way I see them winning this situation that we've created is with self-sacrifice and falling down the pit with the creature. Just gonna be honest. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. How are we writing this up though? In desperation. That's the situation, right? I keep on misspelling minotaurs too. So let's go back up here and get minotaurs so I don't have to deal with that. Wait, I'm gonna have to see how I spell burnt Bjorn. I don't spell Bjorn very often, guys. Bjorn. Where are you, Bjorn? Bjorn. Okay. R-A-N. Born. I feel that the idea that they would be able to win without pushing it down the pit is bad. comrade. I don't use comrade very often either. There we have it. That's going to be yelled. Oh. Okay. We're going to get this thing shoved down the pit before the day's done. I feel that we're good here. Obviously, I'm going to have to kill one of them, right? Okay, let's look over this. Hey, good morning. It's Elysian. I hope you're having a great one. Okay, so we've got the abomination down right here. I feel we just killed an abomination. We also killed one of the minotaurs right there too. We've got the shaman unconscious. One of the minotaurs is dead. Both young guys are dead. So we've got obviously those tribesmen are worthless. They're all gonna die too. Um, we've got three of them though. Well, I don't want to write them off. They're worthless though. They're not gonna do anything. Honestly, they'll probably die really quickly soon. I probably won't even describe their death. Okay, so we've got Sam, Bjorn, the shaman, and a minotaur left. I feel that that's some. We cut some people up right there. So this has been taken care of. Obviously, Sam bit one of the dudes before they escaped. We all know what's going to happen there. So we're going to end up, guys, with a chapter 26. Because they're going to have to escape from this. Obviously, when I do the yeah, I agree it has been taken care of. So yeah, so I think that's what we write. We're going to write. I mean, I'm not going to write it today, obviously, but chapter 26 we all know is going to be. Okay, so chapter 26 is going to be an escape from a situation we've created in which there's going to be zombies killing the Vix. Not the Vix, the other dudes. Obviously, I don't think I'll kill anybody else in the escape. I think the shaman, the minotaurs, Bjorn, and Sam can make it off the planet. In which, um, that will be writing on Wednesday. But I think we're actually at book one complete right here. I mean, like, obviously, I have 2 chapters to add, a ton of stuff to add in revision. I'm going to add an entire new magical character. We're going to add more action. We have tons of dialogue to add and stuff like that. So this is going to get much longer, but, well, and we got to fix some stuff, let's just say. There's lots of fixed stuff. You guys see the blue writing in here. So, book one of a 3-book series is almost done. I think we're freaking dominating, guys. And so, we'll visit about the revision plan and knock out the next chapter on Wednesday. I would assume that by Friday we're at just the revisions and the adding the new chapters that need added. And we'll discuss the new magical character that we're going to throw in here who will have left with his friends, who might and might not die. We can discuss that later. But we need more magic. We need much more stuff going on than we have. Because I've read back through this and I realized that there's some stuff that needs poured into it. And obviously, there's stuff that can just get yanked out and fixed. And we have 2 chapters that we need to add in. And I'll discuss those 2 probably on Friday when we get to it. Real quick, I'm going to find out if there is somebody to raid over to. Um, Honestly, I'm kind of hoping to find Miss Watson streaming. I still owe her a raid back, and so I would like to raid her back. Oh, guys. Treasure box is let's see what treasure box is doing. Does anybody have something we need? Oh, my day's gonna go frickin' awesome. What is going on here? Let's see what treasure box is doing. It says I have to wait 30 seconds. Guys, I hate it when we have to wait. It's okay. I'm willing to wait to see what's going on. I don't want to raid over to people, you guys, to where they're not doing stuff. It really bugs me when that happens. When I'm like, "Oh, let me guys switch you guys over to somebody," and then they're just doing nothing. And so I would like not to do that to you guys, but honestly, so many people are just sitting there doing nothing, which is what's going on here. Why? Why people? Why? I'm Treasure box is usually good too. Okay. Anybody have a preference? Just want somebody that's doing stuff. This guy looks like he's doing stuff. Okay, I'm gonna raid him. It looks like he's doing stuff. Cross our fingers. I'm gonna click the raid over. I want to thank you guys super big for hanging out and stuff. I hope you all have an amazingly Merry Christmas. And honestly, I just hope you guys are having a great, great finish to the year. Peace and very best wishes.